So hi everyone, welcome to Krish TV, and today I've got the great pleasure of having my teacher and good friend Sonia Choquette on the line. Hi Sonia.
Hi, Krishna. Hi, everyone.
So Sonia has been really influential in my journey. She is like one of the world's biggest and best intuitive and psychic teachers. She just makes such a huge difference to so many people. And the reason why I wanted to get Sonia on the line today was because Sonia's been through a big journey herself over the last few years. And she's just released a new book called Walking Home, A Pilgrimage from Humble to Healed. And I just wanted to talk with you today, Sonia, about that journey and kind of, it sounds like it was a huge thing. So obviously a pilgrimage is not something that many people do these days, or we don't hear about it in kind of everyday life. So what made you go on the pilgrimage?
Well, Krishna, I have been teaching people since I was a child, and so I've got major years behind me, 40 years of teaching and using tools to connect with the spirit, using tools to connect with intuition. But a few years ago, in the course of really 6 weeks, I had experienced a tremendous amount of loss. First, I'm one of 7 kids, and my older brother, a year older than me, died in his sleep. And it was such a shock that it caused so much stress that my father, who I've never known to have a sick day in his life, died just suddenly in the morning. And the grief and the stress and the trauma of that had such an impact on me. And my husband of 30 years, whom I've always had a challenging relationship, was not prepared to be available to me in this new way and hold space for me, so he left. And so a marriage of 30 years just imploded. And then following that, people who knew me as a friend or as a teacher said, why did this happen to you? As if somehow being a spiritual teacher would somehow, prevent me or make me immune to life. But I have to admit that it did cause me my own questioning, and I was in so much grief that I just couldn't teach anymore. I was in too much turmoil to be in front of anybody with any integrity in this state of mind. So I prayed for guidance, and I got guidance. I got the guidance to go on a 800-kilometer pilgrimage called the Camino de Santiago across Spain, across 2 mountain ranges. And I knew it was guidance because I had been trying to manage all my agitated and angry emotions. I was taking a kickboxing class and broke my knee. Because how on earth could I do this? I only hiked to the grocery store and back, and you want me to do this? But Krishna, I know guidance, and I know that it's always correct. And so I said yes, and I took off on the Camino de Santiago, and ill prepared but willing and yearning for peace.
Brilliant. I must admit, one of my favourite parts of the early part of the book was reading about your preparations. And especially your hiking boot.
Oh my God.
Honestly, it was hilarious. Tell us how you prepared.
Well, the fact of the matter is, in true to form, I didn't. Living an intuitive life, I kind of always, my life is improv and follow the guidance in the moment. But then it occurred to me, this is serious. So I finally took a moment, just weeks before I went, and I went to the camping, hiking outdoor store, and I'm getting my boots, and he's trying to fit them, and I'm saying, they're fine, and we struggle with that. And then he says, okay, what else do you need? And so we started taking a tour around the store, and do you need a poncho? Yes, I need a poncho. Do you need power bars? Oh, give me 5 boxes. Do you need all weather coat, and do you need shirts, and do you need socks, and I was like, yes, I need all of it. And I mean, at one point he asked me, do you need a pea cone? And I was like, what on earth is a pea cone? And he said, you kind of put it over your privates, and you pee, if you pee like a man pees. It's like, oh, give me that too. And I walked out with 4 huge bags
Oh
of
my God.
stuff, schlepping to my car, thinking, what am I got to carry all this, but I wanted to be comfortable. I wanted to be buffered from what I was doing, and it was just beyond absurd what I did. But that was the beginning of this huge. It was sort of like I Love Lucy meets Eat, Pray, Love. I mean, it was just ridiculous and profound, and it's all of the above.
Wow. Well, reading the story, it's kind of just the journey that you went on. Not obviously just the physical journey, but the emotional and the spiritual journey. It was huge and layers upon layers. So, can you tell us a little bit about the kind of different stages of the journey?
Well, the thing that was so interesting, Krishna, is as a spiritual person, that has always been my go-to, no matter what has happened to me in life. Go to the higher perspective. Go to the place of forgiveness. Go to the place of trying to understand. And what happened to me was that while that was all well and good, I had this mountain of unfelt feelings in my human being. I had grief and anger and trauma and shame, and I had stuffed it all and pushed it away because it didn't match my ideals, which is I'm a spiritual person.
Right.
And as I walked, and what precipitated this in the beginning is that huge tsunami of unfelt feelings and unaccepted feelings came shooting up, and I had to walk with them and be with them and feel them. And that's what happened day by day, is that I walked with a part of me that I didn't deal with. I have time. The circumstances didn't allow, that the timing wasn't available, that priorities were other than that, and all of a sudden it was time. And that was the great healing, is walking with my emotional self and letting that self be witnessed and respected. And I came to a place of compassion and understanding that I don't think I could have ever felt had I not been with those emotions. But it was a wild ride, for sure.
So, what was it that? I mean, obviously, for a lot of us going through the journey of life, we, as you say, as a spiritual teacher, you had all this stuff, and so there are a lot of people out there that aren't even aware that they're carrying this kind of stuff. So, what enabled you to kind of be with some of those tougher emotions and really just allow them?
Well, what I would say is, for one, like, I'll give an example. My father really was not, he was a very beautiful man, but when I was a child, he was overwhelmed, and I suffered a lot of rejection, a lot of physical beatings, and things that just, I knew on a higher level, this was just this poor man trying to manage a chaotic life with a big family. But my emotional self was wounded and hurt, and walking with that part of me, I could finally find some compassion, and only through that compassion for my own experience could I find true forgiveness for him. Okay. So what I would say for anybody is, you don't have to do what I did. I don't believe, and now that I'm on the other side of this, it's not a matter of going, life is a pilgrimage, but it's a matter of allowing yourself the time, the moment, the breath, the minute, the space to just be with your own emotions without feeling shame, without feeling guilt, without feeling like a victim. And walk with them. Go for a walk. Go through like a park, or go through a a forest or go through some natural place where you can just be with yourself and let these emotions come up. Because what I experienced is that if you can be with your emotions and just witness them with love and compassion, it is energy in motion. And the energy will then, once it comes up, it'll move out of your body. It'll move out of, it won't possess you in the corners of your life. It won't sit in your backache or your bellyache or your depression or however else it shows up. If you can just let it come up, but the idea is to move it. Keep it moving, but you have to be with it. So I really encourage people, allow yourself that without judging your experience.
Oh, that's really powerful, actually. And
Yeah.
I remember, I know that one of your good friends, Julie Cameron, in one of her books, talks about the power of walking and kind of going walking kind of 3 times a week just to keep the energies moving and the emotions
Well,
moving.
I agree, Krishna. I really believe that sitting is the smoking of our times, and with our technology and our iPhones and our Androids and our computers and our crazy managing the crazy stimulation of life, we become landfills of all this energy that we try to, and we unfortunately our tools for managing that are still outward oriented. For example, we may try to calm that energy by shopping or eating or drinking or internet, trolling or whatever. But it's a strategy that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But if we can get back to our bodies, back to nature a little bit, and just walk with our own experience without needing to manage it or judge it, just be with it and say, because I really learned in this pilgrimage, and that's what the message in my book is really hoping to achieve, is all parts of you are holy. All parts of your experience are teachers. All parts are good. Don't reject them. Don't reject any part of you. Just be with all parts of you with love and move the energy, and it'll rise up and transform. But it's the rejecting and the managing and this, kind of trying to contain and deny that, quite honestly, just doesn't work for any of us.
No. And it's exhausting.
Yes, that's why people have fatigue and can't get up, and why all of a sudden we have these diseases that we can't really, people say I have Lyme disease, I have Epstein-Barr, I have chronic fatigue, I just can't get up, I'm overwhelmed. It's just all these unfelt feelings that need to be experienced, not held on to, not be swamped in, but that need to be felt with, and witnessed is the word.
Yeah.
Witnessed with compassion. Witness that emotional self that is trying to manage the difficulties of the human journey.
Wow. It's really powerful, and it really speaks to. I think that's kind of where the energy of spirituality is these days, isn't it? It's less about the whole law of attraction thing and trying to make stuff happen and manipulate and all that rubbish.
Right.
And just much more about be here now and witness what's going on for yourself.
And I believe this because I have been through this, that when we start to witness our human experience, give it a moment, give it a breath, take a walk with it, what happens, Krishna, is that we start to find a compassion that genuinely allows you to open your heart. When we stop trying to manage life and say, I only want the good parts, and we can say all parts are good, even the painful parts, all the parts are good, what happens is that we can be available and not defended. So we can start making contact with ourselves, with life, and with other human beings. And that's what will fill the void so many of us feel, because it's that authentic contact with our own experience and with each other in a way that's that's available. But if we are only available to let's make it good, we deny ourselves the power and the authenticity that we can experience through loss as well, through grief, through disappointment. Teaches us that we can't hold on to any of it. We can't make it what we want, but we can truly honor what it is. And that to me is the key to real peace and real love for our fellow man. I really believe that, because my own heart has opened, and it's always been available to others. What I learned is I wasn't that available to me. And now that I am come to a place where I'm so available to me, my love for humanity has increased 10,000.
Wow. Wow. That's quite a message. I love that.